It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Ohio State Assistant Head Softball Coach, Jen McIntyre. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you, Bray?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started in your coaching career?
Well, it's actually a funny story. When I graduated from college, I had zero aspirations of going into coaching. I thought you were supposed to hang up your cleats and, put work clothes on and go to work every day. So I was going to grad school to get my MBA and then potentially go into medical school from there. I have a science background. I was really interested in it. And I went to graduate school at Indiana University, started coaching, and absolutely fell in love with it. So I tell everybody, this is the best looking medical school you've ever seen every day.
Can you talk about how you became the Associate Head Assistant Coach at Ohio State?
Yes, I had been coaching for about 20 years, and Kelly Shanley, who's our head coach at Ohio State, and I have known each other literally for about 18 of those 22 years. And, I had the opportunity to return to work with her and get back into the Big Ten. And so I jumped at it. It was an incredible opportunity, and it's been a journey ever since.
Can you talk about what you've achieved at Ohio State so far?
Well, it's been interesting, to say the least. I think we're all obviously in the middle of this pandemic and trying to navigate some unusual waters, but our kids have been super resilient. They have done absolutely everything that we've asked of them and more. Last year was just my first season with them, and they were complete sponges. They really took to everything that we were trying to do, and I came in, I really kind of started to harp on their fundamentals defensively, and what a change it's been able to see from last year to this year. They've really understood it, they've bought into it, so it's been a lot of fun.
Can you talk about your season at Uconn for the last 5 seasons?
Yeah, that was an incredible opportunity. I had been at Boston University the year before that as the associate head coach there. We took the team to regionals out of Arizona and almost knocked off LSU to get into that regional final. And so then I think from that opportunity, I have that team to thank to be able to give it a chance to become a head coach. And when we took over at UConn, it was a lot of fun. It was 5 years of growth, development. We joined at that time. It was only our second year in the American Conference, which was a conference that at one time was the fourth highest RPI in the country, ahead of two other Power Five conferences. We were sending half of our teams to regionals. So to say that it was a challenge was an understatement, but we really dug in deep. We got our nose to the ground and worked really hard to recruit and to develop those athletes. And I was really proud of the growth from year 1 to year 5. We were on our way. We had started to finish higher in the conference than we ever had, and produced a lot of our the most all conference honorees that we had ever had. So I was really excited to have that opportunity and really proud of those student athletes.
Can you talk about what you accomplished at UConn as the head coach?
Yes, I think that we spent a lot of time growing and developing. Joining that conference was a challenge, and to have the geographical challenges in front of us, to say the least, obviously. But those student athletes really dug in deep, and to see the growth that they had from year 1 to year 5 was incredible.
What was it like to serve as the associate head coach at Boston University in 2014 season?
That was a lot of fun. I had been at Penn State, my alma mater, for 12 years, and I was looking for something that was different, completely different opportunity. I think that, when I've said all along, when I look at my career, the last 21 years of it, and I look back and I say, wow, like that 1 year at Boston was probably one of the most special years so far, because they don't have a lot of the resources that we had been used to. They didn't have the big indoor facilities, and they didn't have all the, the big budgets, and they were successful year in and year out. So to be able to do it with just sheer grit, hard work, determination, willpower, those student athletes just really grinded every day. And that was a lot of fun that year.
Can you talk about playing at your alma mater, Penn State, and then at coaching?
Yeah, it's interesting. My dad had always told me there's two types of people in this world. You're either a builder or a maintainer, and they're both very, very challenging. You're either going to get into a situation and really want to, build it from the ground up, or you're going to get into a situation where there's been a lot of success and you're going to try to maintain that success. And like I said, both of those are very, very challenging, but they're very, very different. And it takes a different personality to dive into each one. And I've always been a builder. When I went to Penn State and chose that as my undergraduate career, I really wanted, they had just joined the Big Ten the year before. I wanted to get in and really help build something. I was a part of a class of 8 freshmen. So we were really committed to really turning things around and making our mark. And, it's kind of been that way my whole career.
Can you talk about what you built at Ohio State for the softball program?
Yeah, well, I would be remiss to say that I had really built anything. Our head coach is the one that really has spent a lot of time, building the culture and the foundation. And, it's interesting as an assistant now to get back into this seat. It's a lot of fun just to really, not have to worry about all the all the extra stuff, but you really get to dig in and coach every single day and really spend your time on the dirt with the athletes. And that's been a lot of fun. But she's done an incredible job with her vision. And now our job is really to help her execute that vision and do that day in and day out.
What is the recruitment process like at Ohio State for the softball program?
Well, I think that everybody's recruitment process is different, number one. And I think that everybody's process in this pandemic has been completely different. We've spent a lot of time this past year really online, going through all the social media accounts, and then working through a lot of the live streaming, watching all the games virtually. But the NCAA had changed our rules a couple of years ago to try to slow the recruiting process down. And so we like to tell every athlete really that their journey is their own. And, it's not like everybody commits on the same day and they say, hey, here we go, everybody commits today. That just doesn't make sense. So we encourage them to really take their own path and, and then we help them navigate that path.
What is the official visit like for the softball program?
Well, in a typical year, in a non-pandemic year, we'll have the athletes come in usually on a Thursday night or a Friday morning. Friday, they'll spend all day with us. They'll go through a class with one of our student athletes. They'll get to meet with our academic advisor. They'll get to meet with an advisor that's on campus. We really like to harp on the classroom side of things on Friday, so they really get to see what a typical day is like. They'll come and watch practice if we're in season or in our fall season typically, and we're practicing. And then on Friday night, they'll get to spend some time with our team. They're going to spend most of their time with those young ladies. And we really believe that our student athletes are the heart and soul of our program. And so we like them to spend some time with them. And then Saturday, obviously, we're very fortunate to have a pretty good football team here. So we like to take them to the football games, get to experience what that looks like. And then, on Saturday, they usually, we'll get to really get into the athletic side of things. We'll talk about, where we see them fitting into our program, what they feel like they can bring to us. As we all know that recruiting is a two-way street. And I think that with a lot of student athletes that are out there, we spend, a lot of programs will spend time, just trying to recruit. And this is what we're about. And we like to take some time to find out what they are about and find out if they are actually a good fit for us and stepping into our culture and, help us win championships.
What advice would you give upcoming high school athletes looking to get recruited in the softball side?
I would say work hard. There's no substitute for hard work, both on the field and in the classroom. And, the ones that it's an incredible opportunity. Your journey is going to be your own. And, when you see that your friends are out there and they're committing, and it's not a pressure point, it's not something where you have to say, hey, it's my turn, I need to commit too. It doesn't go that way. So I would say to work hard. If they're interested in certain schools, once we're able to have our camps, I would say get back into those camps. But in the meantime, send us all the information that you have. Send us videos, send us, game clips, send us, obviously we call them, classroom resumes, things where it has all of your GPA, your coursework, things that you're taking. Get in front of us as much as you can. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And we like to see a lot of numbers, a lot of stat numbers, and so to go that route, I would say would be the best suggestion at this point.
What advice would you give upcoming people looking to get into college softball, like coaching wise?
It's one of the best journeys that's out there. I think to have the opportunity to influence, young women at such an incredible point in their lives from 18 to 22 is absolutely one of the most rewarding things that's out there. With one of the things that is the most rewarding comes one of the biggest challenges, but I would say that, if you're interested in find opportunities that are out there between colleges, universities, just to get in. And so many people think that you have to go into Division I or you have to go into the big time programs, and that's not the case. There's a lot of times that you really get your hands on coaching at the high school, at the travel ball, at the Division III, Division II, Division I level. So coaching is coaching, and I think that the more that you can get out there, the more that you can work some camps, the more that you can volunteer. That seems to be the route that people are going now, is they become a volunteer and then they move up and become assistants. So the more that you can get in there, the better.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the softball program at?
Our softball program has 2 accounts, actually 3. We have a Twitter account at Ohio State Softball. We have an Instagram account, and we also have a Facebook account. So there's 3 different ways that they can find us. And then for me, I'm a big Twitter hound. I love Twitter. It's where I get my news every day, whether it's actual or not. I love it. And my Twitter handle is at Coach Jen Mac. And it's something that I'm on multiple times a day, probably too much. We yell at our student athletes for being on social media too much, and I'm just as guilty. So I'm a big Twitter hound.
Thank you again, Jen, for your interview, and best of luck in the softball program moving ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Brandon. I really appreciate it. Go Bucks.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Jen, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.